Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. Here's a brand new piece from dailyhodl.com. Ripple's Garlinghouse. Macro view for crypto bullish amid massive monetary stimulus. I'll tell you what, my man Brad, completely on board with the same ideas that I have been talking about on this channel for a long time. I mean, it's been sort of like an overarching thing for the entirety of the time I've run this channel, but in particular, with the ridiculous printing of the United States dollar by the federal government over these last few months, thanks to the this lovely pandemic we've all been enjoying, it's at the forefront of so many people's minds when it comes to anything related to investments, financing, the future, right? Just in general, it's all intertwined. And so I want to share with you what Brad Garlinghouse had to say here. Now, amid all of this, it's interesting because it does seem that there's some evidence that that this is resulting, at least to some degree, in an increase in investments in cryptocurrency, including XRP. And take a look at this headline. I'll be running through this as well, also from Daily Hodl. Coinbase executive details huge uptick in institutional demand for Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. This is ultimately important for us as XRP holders. And I've made this point in the past. I mean, and look, I want to be clear that I'm not a financial advisor, no financial background whatsoever. I am not offering financial advice. Don't buy or sell because of me. But I want to share with you my opinion. I'm happy to share my everyday Joe Schmo opinions. And my investment thesis is that utility matters and will win the day. If a cryptocurrency doesn't ultimately do something, it's not going to be adopted and have staying power. That's part of what I believe. Now, maybe, I'm not saying I believe this, I'm skeptical of what's going on with Bitcoin. Maybe you could say that because Bitcoin is the first and standards matter, and I do believe there's something to the concept of standards mattering. Maybe it's just going to exist purely as a store of value, even though it does nothing else. Maybe. I'm skeptical of that, which is just like a fancier, nuanced way of saying, I'm not sure. And it is, so I'll acknowledge that. But I also share my rationale for why I arrive at the conclusion, I don't know. And you know what? If you're not convinced of something, sometimes the best answer is, I don't know, I'm not sure, I think this, I think that, I speculate this or that. That's fine. You don't always have to say something definitively just because you suspect it's the case. That's not precise when it comes to language. So I tend to not do that. So if it sounds like I'm hedging my bets, well, it's more like I'm just being intellectually honest. Now, the thing, though, about all of this is, given that utility does matter, from my perspective, as far as the long-term viability of XRP, my gosh, what do you think institutional investors are going to be factoring in? Because, look, I think that it's clear. This asset class is here to stay. More and more money is going to flow in to the crypto asset class. Our institutional investors, which are probably a little bit more savvy, less emotionally involved than retail investors, do you think they're going to park their money with cryptocurrencies that are doing something, functionally being used, as is the case for XRP, or is it going to go to Dogecoin? You tell me, guys. I'm just telling you. I'll tell you what I think. I suspect that XRP is going to have some staying power as long as it continues to be adopted. But before I share any of my opinions in addition to this, go ahead, if you would please, delicately tap that like button. And also, go ahead and subscribe to the Moon Lambo channel. This is an XRP-centric channel, so if you're into that sort of content, you might not completely hate it. No money back, though. The good news is, it's free, so you didn't give me anything in the first place, right? All right, into this one now. The chief executive at the San Francisco payment startup Ripple thinks that economic policies meant to buffer the impact of the pandemic-induced financial crisis will benefit the crypto industry. In an interview during the Parallel Virtual Event Series, Brad Garlinghouse said massive monetary stimulus programs will eventually damage the value of fiat currency. Ding, ding, ding. Nail hit on head. Brad Garlinghouse, Ripple CEO, absolutely nailing it. And here's a quote from him. I think that the macro view on crypto in a world where we're seeing massive stimulus of fiat currencies, that's very inflationary over a longer arc of time, and I think that's probably very good for crypto. Yeah, I totally agree with that. And what have I been saying as of late? I've been saying that I'm not convinced that we're going to see hyperinflation here anytime soon. I don't think that you're going to need a wheelbarrow full of cash to go buy, like your McDouble at McDonald's. I don't think you're going to need a wheelbarrow of cash for that, like we're in Zimbabwe or something, right? But I do think over a longer period of time there are going to be notable consequences to all of this debasement of the United States dollar. It's just not going to happen overnight. So even in the coming years, I don't know that there's going to be outrageous inflation. Maybe it would be higher than the typical 2% to some degree. What if it's 3 or 4, this or that? Well, that's bad. That is admittedly bad, and we don't want that. But as far as craziness that's going to cause the dollar to crash, I think some people are just getting way too ahead of themselves. Because you got to understand, even though like undisciplined financial policy like this that the United States is engaging in, while that would crash many third world currencies pretty much overnight, understand that the United States dollar is the global reserve today. And so it's going to take a whole lot more of a train wreck for that to actually happen. And I always say, too, don't assume it can't happen just because it hasn't. I think that if you continue to irresponsibly govern monetary policy in the United States, which includes the printing of the United States dollar into oblivion, it's not sustainable forever. It just won't be. That in conjunction with endless debt that won't ultimately be able to be serviced, because you're talking about tens of trillions of dollars, like all this in conjunction, it's highly problematic. Now, Garlinghouse says he believes crypto assets will have to prove their utility in order to survive in the long run. Here's another quote. I also think this isn't just about crypto as a speculative asset. It's about crypto using these technologies to solve real problems. And again, hitting the nail on the head. Utility matters and will win the day. That is my firm belief. That's why I'm happy to continue to purchase XRP, and I have been for years now. I only took a brief pause, when it was parabolically running up on its way up to $4 in 2000. I guess it was the beginning part of 2018. And then I started buying again somewhere in the neighborhood of 50 cents. And then as it went down, I kept purchasing, just dollar cost averaging in, not knowing where it was going to bottom, not knowing that eventually one day, thanks to a pandemic, it would even reach 11 cents again. Had I magically known that, I would have just held off and purchased it all at 11 cents. But that's not the way the world works. You're not gonna catch the bottom. You're not gonna sell the top. That's not realistic to expect you're going to do that. Way less than 1% of people are ever going to be in a position where that happens here. But even so, just dollar cost averaging in, I'm happy to have had the opportunity and the time to accumulate here over the course of what has mostly been a bear market during my time in crypto. But Garlinghouse also cites how blockchain and cryptocurrency can become more useful tools. Here's another quote from him. We have to make sure there's regulatory clarity. We need to make sure we're focused on real use cases, not science experiments, but actually solving real problems. It's important that the various projects, regardless of what technology platform is being used, they need to be clear on who their customers are and what problems they are solving. Yeah, and in the case of many ICOs from 2017, even if there was a neat business idea, did you need it to be blockchain? And even if the answer is yes, did you need to attach a coin? Almost always the answer is no, we don't need a new form of money, but by attaching the coin, you get the frenzy around it, and it was just a money grab. It was awful. It really was. That's one of the craziest things. That's one of the first questions I asked when I jumped into crypto. So I was like, why do you need a new form of money for all of these thousands of cryptocurrencies that exist? It's ridiculous, man. Imagine you need a specific form of money to shop at a grocery store, a different type of money to take your. In my case, I got my pet peeve. She's my 5-year-old Terror Mix. Imagine I needed a specific type of currency to take her to the groomer. Like, can you imagine if you needed a different form of money? Like, it's stupid. It doesn't make any damn sense here. So that's not the way this is all going to look. It's not. You don't need a ton of cryptocurrencies. Even Dan Moorhead, who is the founder and CEO of Pantera, Pantera, is it Capital? I think it's Pantera Capital. I think that's right. Dan Moorhead. He even said that if you fast forward, I think he said like a decade, that you're probably going to have 8 or 10 cryptocurrencies because you just don't need all these other ones. But he said that he believes that XRP is going to be among the winners. And there you go. The acknowledgement. It's not just me that thinks this. You can think what you want, and again, none of this is financial advice, but I do think utility matters, and I see XRP being adopted. As long as I continue to see that, I assume no matter what the timeline looks like, even if it's a long-ass time, I think people are going to get that you have to functionally have a cryptocurrency that does something for it to have staying power. I think that will play out the way I'm expecting over time. Now, as far as the specifics and the timing, admittedly unclear. I'm just saying the overarching, the big picture of that, I feel very confident. I always reserve the right to change my opinion about XRP if the way in which it's being adopted changes or decreases. But that's the thing. Like as with us as XRP holders, if something's bad, would you not want me to like raise the alarm bells or sound or sirens, whatever? Do you want me to do that? Hopefully the answer is yes. You wouldn't want to keep your head stuck in the sand. The good news is, from my perspective at least, there's a reason I'm a Mr. XRP bull. Real world adoption is coming. Now, onto this piece, Coinbase executive details huge uptick in institutional demand for Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. Coinbase has seen a huge uptick in institutional clients over the past 4 weeks, according to a company executive. Well, how about that? Might it be the case that the pandemic is having something to do with this? And I'll tell you this, from my perspective, it seems like everything around crypto has been blowing up in a crazy way. So I think that there's a lot of action on the retail side too, but I want to talk specifically about what's covered here. So Brett Tejpaul, bad at foreign-sounding names, I'm probably butchered it. Coinbase's head of institutional sales, trading, custody, and prime services, tells Thinking Crypto that the huge institutional influx is the reason the exchange's over-the-counter, or OTC for short, trading desk, which has been around for 2 years, has done 50% of its life-to-date volume in the past 4 weeks. Did you hear that? 50% of its life-to-date volume. Again, it's been around 2 years. 50% of that in 4 weeks. Insane. Listen up here. I'm telling you, this is another indicator why I've been saying it seems like the traders, the chart analysts out there, maybe they're right. You know, I'm not an analyst as far as that goes. Not as a trader in terms of price action. I like covering on the channel what people have to say about that are in the know. But they've been talking about various metrics indicating, yeah, this is the beginning of a bull market. Well, my gosh, here's another metric to track. Even if you could even call this one anecdotal, that's fine. An anecdotal incident rather than a metric would be more precise. But anyway, so Brett Tejpaul attributes the influx to a few factors. The seminal public endorsement of hedge fund legend Paul Tudor Jones of Bitcoin in May, hedge fund giant Renaissance Technologies' recent venture into the Bitcoin futures market, and the secure storage offered by Coinbase Custody, which is regulated by the New York Department of Financial Services. Tejpaul also mentions Coinbase's recent acquisition of Tagomi, a crypto prime brokerage platform. The acquisition gave Coinbase the ability to offer institutional clients smart order routers, according to the executive. And here's a quote. Institutional clients want to be able to get the best price, and so if Bitcoin is trading on 8, 9, 10 different exchanges, arguably more than that, we actually route to all those different exchanges through those smart order routers. So if the best possible price for Bitcoin in that split-second moment happens to exist on someone else's exchange, we're indifferent. We just buy that small piece and give our key investor the fill. So it's a way that institutional investors can buy and sell, accessing the entirety of the marketplace without any preference given to Coinbase's own venue. That's impressive. And that was the first I'd actually specifically heard about that. But I guess that's going to result in happier customers, right, on the institutional side. How about that? Interesting. They're still making money, right? They're still going to make their money. There's no doubt about that. Wow, interesting stuff here, right? So I hope you can kind of see why I'm thinking the way I'm thinking and the way this is all unfolding. And so for XRP, which, as we know, historically trades sideways longer than most other top cryptocurrencies, we also know that when it goes, my gosh, that thing sets off. So you can think about what it would take for Bitcoin to get back to its all-time high. It'd have to less than double at today's price. For Ethereum, it would have to increase I forget the price today. 3 to 4 times. It's around there, whatever it is. You'd have to threefold increase. And then for XRP, what is that? I'm not going to try and do the math in my head. I'm on the spot and didn't know I was going to say this. What is it going to be, like 12 or 13 times fold? And do you think XRP is ever going to hit that? Go back to its all-time high? I'd be shocked if it didn't. And so, and that's why I say too, like the more illiquid a cryptocurrency, an asset, the less it takes for it to double in price. Think about it. How much would it take? How much money has to flow to double Bitcoin versus how much money has to flow into XRP ecosystem to double XRP? It's not even close. And so, given that there's real utility, and I know that's a fact, I am happy to be here. And there's a frenzy around the asset class, so I know the humans are just going to act dumb Humans are going to be humans, and I'm just counting on that at this point. That's it for this video, though. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo!